The International Committee of the Red Cross presents Yemen, Land of Suffering, a production of the ICRC Information Service. This is Sana'a, the capital of the new Arab Republic of the Yemen, one of the most picturesque towns in the world and one of the least accessible. The high surrounding mountains, although arid, account for this area's relatively healthy climate. 3,000 years ago, the Queen of Sheba reigned wisely over this land, which the Romans later called Arabia Felix, Happy Arabia. In modern times, few are the Western travelers who have been there. Behind the dried mud ramparts, some 50,000 people are crowded in their houses with white decorative framed windows. Their civilization, though it remained aloof from the rest of the world, has produced palaces and monuments of great purity of style. Who could remain indifferent to the beauty of the great mosque and its minarets, marvels of Zaydiya architecture? In the streets and marketplaces, there is the usual noisy bustle of Arab towns, but uppermost in everybody's mind is the war between the royalists and the republicans. Towards the end of 1962, civil war broke out in the Yemen. World opinion was not unduly stirred, but the International Committee of the Red Cross undertook to bring assistance to the victims of this fratricidal struggle. True to its tradition of neutrality and impartiality, the ICRC felt it had a duty to be present, both among the tribes which had remained loyal to the Imam el-Badr and among the Republicans and their Egyptian allies. For many months, its two delegates at Sana'a have been successfully carrying out a difficult task. On this side of the front, however, no medical assistance from the Geneva Committee was required. The medical service of the United Arab Republic operates several hospitals for its troops and the Yemeni population. It is not the Red Cross which is in evidence here. The ambulances are marked with the sign of the Red Crescent. But although the emblem is different, the spirit is the same. Whether Republican or Royalist, in suffering, men are united in brotherhood. This hospital under canvas, a few miles from the mountainous region held by the royalist tribes, is not far from the fighting. The atmosphere of calm is deceptive. Sheltered from the blazing sun lie men in pain, some perhaps dying. But there are also men who still follow the example set by Henri Dunant 100 years ago. For these gallant stretcher-bearers, human fellowship is in the natural order of things. War raged long in this village not far from Sana'a. Some of the population fled as soon as the shooting began. Those left behind continue in dread to till the stony ground, while the elders pray to Allah for merciful intervention. Here too, war brings fear and suffering, famine and death. Ever since their arrival, the Egyptians have guarded the entrance to this huge pit to prevent the people from going to this foul quagmire. For generations, the local inhabitants have drawn water from it, oblivious of the deadly germs to which they were exposing themselves. Now, the medical service of the United Arab Republic brings the drinking water to the village every day, and the people all agree that water brought by lorry tastes better than water from a morass. Every morning in Sana'a, these 600 war orphans go singing to the milk center. They too stricken by the ravages of war, are in need of assistance from the ICRC delegation. Previously, they were totally lacking in the very commodity which could do them most good, milk. On arrival at the milk center, the children patiently wait their turn in groups of 10. Watched by their guardians, who also welcome this godsend, they enjoy to the full this beverage to which the delegates from Geneva have added vitamins. To make up for the shortage of cups and glasses, sterilized empty food tins have been converted into drinking mugs. Other countries, other customs. This applies to the educational system also. In the Yemen, the recalcitrant student may be tethered for a week. "200 boys are living in this palace at the Republican government's expense. They are the sons of tribal chiefs who have espoused the cause of the new regime. Their presence in the capital stems from a long tradition. Their position is similar to that of the pages, which in olden days the lords left with their sovereign as a pledge of loyalty. For these boys too, the ICRC has brought into Sana'a tons of powdered milk. Distribution takes place every afternoon in a public square. Tomorrow, these children of the young republic will form the elite of their country, which for centuries has remained on the fringe of progress. Behind these barred windows are some special internees awaiting better days. These are women of the royal family. The Red Cross delegates regularly bring them relief and news of their relatives. Assistance to prisoners of war is one of the ICRC's traditional tasks. Often, after lengthy negotiations, it manages to arrange for the liberation of some of them. What welcome the ICRC delegate receives when he brings to these men the news that they will be able to return to their own country. Their smile is his greatest reward. This moment of joy, they owe it to the universally respected emblem flying here high in the Sana'a sky. In the north of the Yemen, there was neither equipment nor personnel for the care of the royalist wounded. The ICRC undertook an even heavier task than in Sana'a, the setting up of a field hospital at Ukt. Here, among this outcrop of rocks, lies Ukt in the desert sands extending further than the eye can see across the Arabian Peninsula. A few months ago, only some Bedouin tribes and camel caravans frequented this spot. Today, there are 7 doctors and a staff of more than 20, all recruited by the Swiss Red Cross, working there without respite. Every day, the royalist wounded and sick converge upon this canvas village, making their way by lorry, camel, donkey or foot to this haven of human fellowship. For most of them, it is the first time in their lives that they have seen a doctor. Women and children also stand beneath the burning sun, sometimes for hours, patiently waiting their turn. Often, they are accompanied by their husbands. And even when time passes slowly, they remain patient in the traditional way of the Orient. Each month, over 1,000 patients, victims of war and sickness, go into this polyclinic tent. These veiled Bedouin women do not know what the ICRC is, but they know what it does, and that is why they come to Ukt. Every self-respecting Yemenite carries his jumbia, a dagger richly decorated in nickel and silver.